Table Talk, a place for honest conversations and getting to meet friends. My name is Betsy Thompson, and I'm here with Michi Gafford.
Hello.
Thank you so much for being okay to come hang out with us today. It's going to be so fun.
Yes, it will.
I'm very excited. And so if you are new to joining us here at Table Talk, this is a place we really are just getting to meet some friends and have some fun conversations. And what we're doing right now is getting to meet our pastor search team and taking some time to really get to know them and not just read their little bio. And Michi is on that pastor search team.
Yes, I am.
Which is so amazing. Y'all, we've talked about it a little bit, but the commitment y'all are making to this church and to the Lord to be a part of this team is massive.
It's huge. Every once in a while, it'll kind of hit me over and over.
Yeah.
This is a huge responsibility, and you better not take it lightly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. How did you decide to say yes to that? Was it a long process to say yes? Did you know immediately when they called you? Like, how did you?
Okay, so Dennis, my husband, he told me, hey, they're asking for nominations for the pastor search team, so you need to check that email, because I'm really bad about checking emails, but now I promise I'm not.
Yes, right, yeah.
So I looked at it and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm going to nominate some people, da-da-da-da. And then we talked about it, and he's like, yeah, I heard your name going around. And I was like, what?
Oh.
And he's like, yeah. And I was like, nah. Me? And so then the call came, and it was Wes Holloman and a few other people on the phone. And you could tell it was on voicemail. No.
Like speakerphone.
Speakerphone.
Yes, where you could tell, like, there's other people listening to me.
Yes, you can tell. And of course, they have the decency to say, you're on speakerphone,
right,
and I'm here with such and such. And
yeah.
I'm like, yeah, okay. And as soon as I saw it was Wes's phone coming in,
yes.
I was like, oh, yeah, here it is, Dennis. It's coming. And so I told him that I would pray about it.
Yeah.
And I got to be honest, I did that just to keep him a little nervous.
Poor Wes.
Sorry, Wes.
Wes can handle it, but that's hysterical.
Yes. I was like, I hung up and I was like, we'll go back tomorrow and say yes, right? And he's like, yeah.
So you knew. That's awesome.
I knew.
You knew.
And actually, I really can't say when I've gotten a request to help with something from Sagemont Church where I've had to think about it and had to pray about it. No, it's my church calling and saying, we need you. Okay, you step up.
I love that so much. And I've known you enough years. That is truth. That is your heart. That is not you just saying stuff. That is who you are.
I believe that very firmly, and sometimes that gets me into little trouble with other people because I expect the same of them in return.
Yes,
and I've been shown, time and again, I've been shown, well, hey, some people like to question. And I'm like, okay. Yeah. I don't mean just in the church setting. I mean in all settings.
Yes.
Yes.
Having to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so introduce yourself a little bit. Tell us about your family and a little background about you. Just let us get to know you a little bit.
Okie dokie. So, my name is Michelle Gafford, but only...
Who calls you Michelle?
Mom.
Okay. Because I've never heard anyone actually, I see it, but I've never heard anybody call you Michelle.
Yeah, no.
Okay, just Mom.
Just Mom when I've misbehaved. Seriously, because she has a whole string of nicknames for me. I am married to Dennis Gafford. He is... he's so cute. I love him.
Listen, I know we're going to get into their love story and all, but it just makes my heart smile just even knowing we're going to get to share this story.
Okay.
It's so cool.
Anywho, so I have been coming to Sagemont Church since 2006, which is when I returned to the United States after having lived in South America for 16 years. My family are South American immigrants to the U.S., and that includes my parents and my 5 siblings. They came to the Sagemont area. My dad bought his Sagemont house, a Perry home house, on a handshake with Mr. Perry himself.
Wow. It's amazing.
That gives me goosebumps.
That's so cool.
The Sagemont neighborhood is such a part of Sagemont Church's history.
It is.
Anyway, and so after high school, I moved down to Chile and lived there for 16 years. Yeah. I went to college. I worked, I got married, I got divorced, and then I came back to Houston to my sister's house, and that would be Claudia Mills, Claudia and David Mills. They took me in. They also witnessed to me in 2004 and got me on the right track.
That's amazing.
Praise God. As a child, I came to one of Sagemont's VBSs, and I know I accepted the Lord. But then, I know there was no walking with him. There was no reading the Bible. The Bible was a sacred book not to touch in my house, being raised Catholic. And so you went to church. And for me, it was a fashion show. Every Sunday, it was like, oh, who's wearing what today?
Right.
As you go to the front to take communion and things like that. Anyway, in 2004, Claudia and David really witnessed to me, and that was when I was getting separated from my ex. And just, oh my gosh, Brother John's message that Sunday that I came, because I came to Houston for 2 weeks. The first week, I was downtown with my friends because we came to the Houston Quilt Show. And
even back then, you were quilting.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Okay. That's
Yes.
cool. I didn't know it was that long. Okay.
Oh, it's been 22 years.
That's amazing.
Mm-hmm. And so the second week of that stay in Houston, I came and was with Claudia and David, and, they had youth groups coming over to the house and having fellowship and game night. And then I came to church with them, and Brother John's message, that's what I was going to say, is he was preaching on something that day, and the words that stuck in my mind, but actually pierced my heart, were, okay, so if you think you need loving, well, you're not giving loving. And it was like, oh my gosh,
wow.
That's so powerful.
Yeah.
The thing that I am wanting the most is actually the thing I am not doing or giving. And I don't know how to do that or give it because I don't know truly who loved me first. And so that's when I started my walk with the Lord, and just, man, it was so neat just to get to know him and find a church, and just find a church that would be down in Chile, because I was only
you
here
were still living in Chile.
I was still living there, so that was only 2 weeks here in Houston. So I went back to Chile, found a church, which is really cool because it's just how God orchestrates everything. He moves the pieces, and it's a symphony to me how he works with us. And so that is that. I think I've kind of lost my place in this.
No, but that was fabulous. So you went back to Chile for a while, but then eventually you moved back here.
I did move back, yes. I was working in the corporate world, and our RH person had an interview with me one day because she just wanted to see where everybody was, gauging. And she says, so where do you see yourself in the company 5 years down from now, down the line? And I just burst into tears because I was like, I don't.
Right.
I don't want to be here. And so she said, okay, look, as great of an employee that you are, your well-being is first and foremost.
That's amazing.
I know,
That's
right?
That's wonderful. Yes.
So I was like, okay. So that clearly was God using someone, a non-believer, for his good, to bring me back to Houston for everything that he had, just waiting for me to say yes and walk in obedience, and everything just unfolded beautifully.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Okay, so you come back to Houston.
Yes.
You're here. Or did you live with David and Claudia for a while?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I am jobless, carless. I have, I had a couple of, I don't remember the exchange rate, but at that point, it was like maybe $1,500 to my name.
Okay.
Plus the clothes on my back. That was it.
Okay.
And we joke and tease how I just held their couch down for about a year and watched all the movies.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
I had told them and they knew where I was because they knew that I was going through a separation / eventually divorce.
Right.
And just everything that entailed.
Yeah.
And knew in my walk with Christ, and just wanting to
figuring stuff out,
exactly.
Yeah.
So I did get a part-time job and helped, with however I could and things like that. So then,
are you the youngest of the five?
You're
six.
I'm number 6.
You're the baby.
I am the baby.
Now, how many when you were living in Chile? Were any of your siblings living in Chile?
Yes.
As well?
Number 5 lived in Chile.
Okay.
I sound like that movie. I'm going to date myself. Wally? No, not Wally. Before him. Johnny 5. Anyway.
Oh, yeah. Johnny 5. That was a great movie.
Wasn't it?
I haven't seen that in forever. That was a great movie.
Okay, but number 5,
Yeah.
my sister Paola, she lives in Chile.
Okay.
She still does.
Okay.
And so when I moved down there, I moved in with them.
Okay.
And then, over the course of those 16 years,
Sure.
moved several times and
Yeah.
did my own thing. So I moved in with Claudia and David, figured things out. That was in June of 2006.
Were you attending Sagemont then when you
if-
moved back?
Well, yes, I was,
Okay.
because if I wanted to go to church and I didn't have a car, I'd have to hop in the car with
There
them.
you go. There you
So-
go. That works.
Yes. And so,
And they are super servers.
yes.
They are very much of the same heart that you
Well,
are.
we're
If
just-
there's a need, we do it.
And I learned that from them.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No doubt in my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm sure they were like, hey, we're going to serve at this thing and
You're coming.
coming with us. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
So you're up here just doing.
Yes. So it's a Wednesday night when at that time we were making stew in the hall at that time.
Yes.
Or is it still the hall?
No, it's the gym now.
Okay.
It's gone back and forth. It's a gym again.
We were making stew in the kitchen.
Yes.
And so Claudia and I are in the kitchen with these big giant pots and other people helping in there. And then Debbie, gosh, I cannot believe I can't remember her last name right now, but she was in the choir and she said, hey, you like to sing? You should come to the choir. We meet on Wednesday nights and we just meet right here and we have choir practice. And I'm like, okay. And so I was like, oh, I was okay. But then I was like, oh, wait, I don't have a car and Claudia's leaving. So she's like, Michi, it's okay. I'll get a ride home with somebody else. You keep the car. Here are the keys. So thanks.
That's nice.
So I joined the choir.
That's so fun.
The next day, John Mark calls me and he's like, hey, this is John Mark Benson. And, I just wanted to see what you thought and what you,
Right.
if you want to join. And I was like, well, I thought I already did since I was there last night.
That's all it took. That one time I showed up, I'm there.
So I joined the choir. I say that because in May of 2007 is when Dennis Gafford,
Yeah.
Dennis.
Sorry, I
He's
get precious.
flustered.
No, it's so
And
fun.
I blush.
I call him Dennis Gafford as well.
Well, yes.
All the time.
Okay.
I never just say Dennis. It's Dennis Gafford. I don't know why, but I do. I have a few people in my world like that.
Yes.
It's a first and last name, always. I don't know why. But yes, Dennis, sweet Dennis, your now husband.
Yes.
Yes.
He approaches me at a training seminar. Oh, I'm sorry. I joined the choir. Dennis is on praise team.
Yes.
I never really paid attention to him because the way the choir practice room was set up, sopranos were all over here, and there's a lot of them. And then there were the men, not many, and then the altos, a lot of them. And then usually the praise team didn't rehearse with us,
Right.
practice with us. They were somewhere else doing their melodies and harmonies and all that. So he never
Was there, yeah.
connected or anything.
Yeah.
But I have to rewind a little bit and say that when I came to Sagemont Church in 2004, I saw Dennis Gafford on the praise team that Sunday morning, and I was immediately interested. And then I immediately chastised myself and said, girl, you are not here for that. Get it out of your head. And so
That's so funny.
so that was it.
Yeah.
Done. And then, so God just kind of closed that until it was his time.
Yeah.
And which is basically what Dennis will say. I didn't see her until it was God's time for
Yeah.
he opened my eyes to her. And that's our story. And let's just leave it there because
I
it will
love
take up
it.
a lot of time.
It's a beautiful story. It's a
Yes.
beautiful story.
I invite anybody who wants to know to
Yes.
just flag me down in the HRA and I will tell you.
And it's just an amazing story. And just for context, so people kind of know, Dennis Gafford is Misty that leads worship for us now. It's daughter. So you're Misty's
Dennis Gafford is Misty Niemeyer's dad.
Right. What did I say?
It's okay.
I don't know. Yes. And so there's this cool connection, and it would take us the entirety to do all the weird family connections that you are now related to in this church.
Yes.
It is long and it is wide, and it is so fun.
It is.
When you actually stop and think about it. So it's really, really cool. And people laugh when I'm like, but she's Claudia Mill's sister. And they go, what? It's like this whole other train that you added to the thing that was already there.
Yes.
So fun. So how long have y'all been married now?
15 years.
That is crazy.
It is. It's really neat.
I love y'all. Still just act like newlyweds.
We do.
Y'all are adorable.
We really, really do.
You do.
Yeah.
It's so sweet.
And it's all God. It's God.
And y'all serve together, and I love when I get to hear Dennis sing. He's so talented. I thought he and his brothers were twins.
Twins, yes.
Forever I thought they were. They were twins.
People still think that.
Yes.
But, But no, they are a year apart, and Dennis is also the baby of the family.
Okay. I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Where is Dwayne?
Dwayne's the oldest. I
didn't know that.
And just in case, Dwayne is a girl.
She is. Dwayne's a precious woman. She's so sweet. I assumed the boys were older.
No.
That is really cool.
Dwayne's the oldest, then David, and then Dennis.
Okay. So the whole crew. So fun. Okay, so you, Kim, you're from Chile. Bilingual. We have a Spanish ministry.
Yes.
When you first started coming with David and Claudia, because a lot of people know Claudia is totally bilingual as well, but you might not just assume that.
Correct.
And so, right. Yes. And they were really heavily involved in student ministry.
Yes.
So how did you get plugged in to the Spanish ministry?
Well, I heard there was one Sunday school class. I mean, this is before iConnect exists. iConnect.
Right, yeah.
As a term. So there was this one Sunday school class that was in Spanish. So I would go to that class.
Really? Okay.
Yes. And then I would go to, the worship service in English because that was all we had back then.
Yeah.
So that's how. And then eventually, or not eventually, but at some point that Spanish class was...
Stopped meeting. Okay.
And then a few years went by, and the Spanish ministry became
a thing. Yeah, it took off. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And so...
so you were here for when that started.
Oh, yes, I was.
Oh, cool.
Oh, my gosh. As sad as it's going to sound, I was part of the praise team.
I love that. That's good.
Oh.
That's good.
Sure. It's the little... What is like the runt car? I was the smart car version of the amazing Cadillac Danesa worship we have. Okay.
Danesa. Yes. Where we've gotten to, where the Lord has brought it. That's amazing.
Yes.
And you and Dennis both serve
in the Spanish ministry. Dennis sings on praise team in the Spanish ministry.
Now, did he know Spanish before he met you?
He knew some words before he met me.
Okay.
His background is law enforcement.
Yes.
So he showed off his Spanish vocabulary.
Oh, no. It might not have been all the best things to know how to say. I'm sure that's so funny. That's hysterical.
He said something. He was so proud of it.
Oh,
My
no.
eyebrow just shot up like, excuse me?
Don't say that ever again.
It's really not appropriate for the girl you want to date.
Oh my gosh. That's so funny.
I promise I'm not throwing you under the bus, honey.
No, that's just good for us to know, Dennis. We can just ask.
He has the most incredible pronunciation in Spanish for a gringo.
Listen, most people don't just pick up Spanish. He must have like this gift of just...
It's natural. It's God-given.
That's amazing.
Just beautiful. It is beautiful. I love it. And when he writes in Spanish, it's just this composition that's
He can write in Spanish too?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
That's a whole different level.
Yes. Yes.
That's amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. So what all do y'all do in Spanish ministry? I know y'all do a ton.
Well, he sings and on praise team, and then I'm in the choir. But then also through the years of the Spanish ministry, we were directors of the young singles group, like the The young single group in the Spanish ministry is very different from the English
Really?
side of church, because in the young, we've got from like 14 to 30 something. Yes, but it works.
But it works.
It works.
That's interesting.
And that has evolved and changed over the years. And so, so we've been involved in that. We, at some point, I was involved in like the women's leadership roles within the Spanish ministry.
Yep. I think that's how I kind of got to know you, was through a lot of the women's ministry stuff. Yeah.
Yes, the Bible studies and things like that.
Yes, doing that.
And Dennis hangs out with the men when they have their Saturday get-togethers and things like that. So, but really the Spanish ministry kind of just really operates more like on a family level where it's everybody. So that's where we are the most, with everybody.
Yeah.
At the park picnics or, I don't know, relief efforts.
Yeah.
Harvey, etc.
Yes. I think it's so interesting that if you don't know a lot about our Spanish ministry, I encourage you to follow them on social media, and then also go to our events page on our website and just scroll down and see all the things that they have going on. It is so encouraging to see all the things that ministry is doing.
Yep.
It's really cool. And a really neat thing, just recently on Sunday morning, consistently, y'all had over 300 people attending.
Yes, we did.
Which is a huge deal. So exciting.
Yes, and just about every Sunday we have visitors.
Yes.
Like people who are new. They're first-time visitors, if you will.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's really, really neat to see. I love it so much. And Pastor Lazaro is just... He's just the sweetest man.
He is.
And he has such a good heart and just wants to do whatever the Lord calls him to do. He is such an amazing shepherd of that flock.
That he is.
It's beautiful.
And his wife, Adi, she's, oh, I love her.
Yeah, sweet. They would love for you to take them to lunch and get to know them. Just reach out to Lazaro and say, hey, I'd love to get to know you and take you to lunch.
Yes.
You will not regret it. He's just awesome. He's so great.
He is.
Yeah. Okay, so I want to talk a little pastor search team.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so as you're in this process, you're a part of this team. What would you say is your biggest prayer and ask of the Lord outside of the man that God's going to bring through this process? What is that thing you're asking the Lord to do?
I'm asking him to do it in his own timing. I'm a big God's in control, and it's going to happen in his own timing. And Dennis and I were having this conversation the other day, and kind of like along the lines of where when you're asked to help, you just step up and do it. I also tend to just, it's in his hands. Quit saying, oh, I hope it's sooner. Oh, I hope it's later. Oh, I hope it's this. That's where I go. I just he's going to do it, period. And Dennis is like, but some people are just trying to say that their hope is that it's sooner than later. We just left it at that.
Yeah.
It's in his timing, because it's not just the fact, or it's not the matter of finding the right man. Well, God already knows who it is.
That's right.
Of the pastor search team landing on the man that God has for us. It's a matter of our church body being absolutely prepared in our hearts and in our spiritual walk to receive that man and what God is going to do in our church through that man. So just because we want it to be in, 6 months, well, Susie Q over there needs a few more months to,
That's right. Be prepared.
Yes.
God's got to do the work.
To rub out the rough spots and the roughness around.
That's right.
Did that make sense?
Yes.
In my head, it was happening in Spanish.
I love it.
So.
You're so funny. Here, say all that in Spanish.
Oh, okay. Bueno, lo primordial que le estoy pidiendo al Señor es que el hombre que Él tiene para nuestra iglesia, que Él va a llegar aquí cuando sea el tiempo de Dios, no el nuestro. Sí, algunos quieren que sea ya, pero no. necesitamos que sea en el tiempo del Señor, porque la congregación como un todo tiene que estar listo y preparado en nuestros corazones y en nuestras mentes y en nuestro caminar espiritual para recibir a ese hombre que va a hacer cosas increíbles que Dios ya tiene programadas para nosotros, para nuestra iglesia y nuestra comunidad. Entonces no es un tema de, ay, ya Señor, ahora ya queremos el pastor principal. No, es un tema de caminar en obediencia y en fe, que va a ser todo de acuerdo al tiempo del Señor.
That's beautiful. Like, I know what you said because you said it first, but I don't know what you just said, and it bringing tears to my eyes because it's that heart passion that you have for this,
Yes.
for God to do his thing.
Yes.
And it's beautiful. And I think that is the prayer of just, God, do your thing. Mm-hmm. And we want your will. And whatever that looks like, help us be a healthy church, a healthy people.
Absolutely.
That accept your will in whatever timing and however that looks.
Yes. Yes.
I adore that. That's amazing. So we're in this season of prayer, these 57 days of prayer that we're doing from Easter to June 4th for our 57th anniversary. And so we're really focusing on prayer. Mm-hmm. And so one of the things I wanted to ask is just talk to me a little bit about your personal prayer life and what that looks like. Do you have tips or tricks or things that you enjoy that really help your prayer life? Is, sometimes it's harder, sometimes it's easier. Where are you at? What's it looking like?
Oh, it's looking varied. And I will say this. When I'm going to sit down to study, my first action is to put my phone on Do Not Disturb.
Yes.
I need silence. So I pray that the dog would not bark, that I pray for God to keep all those distractions away, and I pray for him to show me what it is he has for me in that moment for that day with what I'm going to read. I'm using the Bible Recap podcast, and I am actually on day 166 of last year.
There you go. Hey, plug, Tara Lee Cobble is coming.
I do know that.
Bible Recap, Tara Lee Cobble. Hey, Bible readers.
Yes.
She's coming to Sagemont. We're so excited. Yes. Okay.
So I am doing that podcast. And so imagine, I'm on last year. I didn't finish last year.
Yep.
And I am so okay with that because, oh my goodness. Last year I got to go to Israel out of the blue. It was not planned or anything.
Cool.
It was just dropped in our laps, a gift from God. And so we went. And when I was there, I was doing Bible Recap and I was already behind.
Right.
But the day that I was reading about Shiloh and the tent, the tabernacle, and Joshua, I was there.
Oh my gosh.
It was amazing. It was so alive. Oh my gosh, it was amazing. So I do the Bible Recap. In addition to that, I got a Bible study with the women in the evening. So we're reading another book. And then my iConnect class is, we've got our own book that we're reading. But then separately, we're also going through books of the Bible.
Okay.
And we comment on that. So it's it's coming at me from a lot of different angles. And I love it. And then, just constant prayer and our church's calendar. Our church's calendar is really huge.
It is.
And just today, I prayed for joy and happiness, and God gave me joy and happiness, and it's not even, 4 o'clock.
Right. I love that so much. That's so good. And it is. I love that prayer is speaking to the Lord, asking him, like, let my time with you be exactly what you need it to be. Prepare my heart to sit down and talk with you.
Yes.
And I love that. Mm-hmm. Thank you. One, for coming and hanging out.
You're welcome.
We said if this is how we have to hang out is on a calendar, goodness gracious, we need to make it happen more than just that. But I'm so glad I got to hang out with you. But then also, thank you for being a part of the search team. Mm-hmm. Like, it is a ton. And I know we are praying for y'all. We are supporting y'all. We want to be encouragers.
Thank you.
Of all that y'all are doing, because I know it's a lot. It's lots of time, but then also just the weight of the task at hand that you've been called to. And I love that I can say, I trust the Lord called each and every one of you to this task.
Oh, yes.
And so he has put together the perfect group to do this amazing thing. And it's neat to get to be a small part of walking through and then see the legacy that God has for Sagemont to continue.
Exactly.
It's super exciting.
Yes, you took the words out of my mouth. Exciting.
It's so exciting. Well, we appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
And listen, I know Michi, if you see her in the hallways, please go up and talk to her and say, hey. And she's just such joy. And thank you for all that you do for our church.
You're welcome, and I am grateful and blessed to be part of Sagemont.
Thank you so much.
And I'm actually roaming the halls of the HRA. I don't come to the main sanctuary very often.
We'll come see you.
Come on.
We'll come over there. Hey, thanks so much for being here. Y'all have a great rest of your day. We will see you next time on Table Talk.